I also wanted to make a mention on the telecom business. So while Naveen Kulkarni was also making this point that the average revenue per user, the expectation was 182 rupees. It's come in at 181.7. So maybe this slightly lower than expectations. The bumper number is really the subscriber addition. It's much stronger than what the street was expecting. And I was calculating it, the subscriber addition has gone up 21.7% quarter on quarter. So this time they've added 11.2 million subscribers. This compares to an addition of 9.2 million last quarter. Naveen, this is really much better than what the street was estimating perhaps, and the subscriber base is now at 460, almost 460 million. How are you looking into it? Would you expect the company to build on to this number? And would you raise your earnings estimates, particularly for Jio, based on what you've seen this quarter?
Yeah, very likely, because see, the environment that we are in, telecom subscriber additions have been hard to come by. We are not in 2010 kind of a scenario where adding 2 crore subscribers or 20 million subscribers was not that difficult. Right now, in this kind of an environment, a subscriber addition is rather difficult, and Jio adding close to 11 million subscribers is a very, very strong number, and that too in a quarter which is not the strongest quarter of the year, right? So I think overall, from an operating performance point of view, this is a very, very strong quarter for Jio. ARPU number can move up and down, plus minus 0.5% miss is not very, very significant, but overall the ARPU, the subscriber addition and margins being maintained on a sequential basis says a lot in terms of how Jio is shaping up in terms of the overall growth trajectory.
Okay, very strong quarter for Jio on the back of the subscriber addition, the net subscriber addition going up quite a bit. Karan, Taurani, I wanted your thoughts on, in the retail business, as Mangalam was telling us, very, very strong growth is what we've seen. The retail revenues itself, almost 10.5% growth, now sitting on a base of 77,000 crores of retail revenues. You were talking about how they have many, businesses that are sort of coming up in a big way, whether it's something like a Tira, which is adding to their profile now. Do you think that these margins of almost 8% and this double-digit growth on the top line is something that Reliance can maintain in their retail business in the second half of the year as well? And would you scale up your earnings estimates for the full year?
Yeah, so I think if you look at the growth rates, I think the growth rates will amplify in the second half because of festive season. I think this is, that despite the Shraddha season and the Adhik Maas coming in, they have been able to maintain these kind of growth rates. So I think because of festive, the momentum will accelerate. I think fashion lifestyle will be the biggest driver here. White goods also, you'll see growth rates accelerating from 13-14% range more towards 18-20% in the second half. So I think there is a potential, for some sort of an earnings update as far as retail numbers are concerned. But again, just to add on the telecom bit, I think the subscriber addition is also coming because of 5G. I think in terms of 5G adoption, in terms of having the largest 5G base today, Jio has been the most proactive, and they've also got the first mover advantage, versus peers. So I think even this is kind of playing out as far as subscriber addition is concerned. And the second driver for the subscriber addition is also people moving from 2G to 4G, because even that is one of the intents that the company has actually panned out. And if you look at the average quarterly subscriber addition, 3 to 4 quarters back, it was around 5 to 7 million subscribers, which has now come to almost 11 million plus subscribers. So I think there is ample amount of growth there, and I think ARPUs will kind of come over the medium to long term basis, once they have a larger chunk of the market, because as I told you, they've got a very strong hold on the entire content ecosystem. So I think ARPUs will come by. It is now only about getting a larger chunk of the entire market.
And Reliance always seems like a company which is forever on a growth path, because this quarter itself, they did a capex of close to around 38,800 crores itself, most of them internally funded. And speaking about the retail business itself, Karan, I was looking at some of the internals out here, and they are extremely strong. Consumer electronics grew at around 11%. You said that it would be fashion which would have led the growth. Yes, indeed, fashion and lifestyle is up 32%. And we have Ajio, which has grown by about 50% year on year. Grocery itself hasn't done too badly. In fact, in a quarter where, people are looking at downtrading or smarter, cheaper options, Reliance Grocery has delivered a quarter of record performance with a 33% growth, led by Smart and Smart Bazaar formats, largely because of the value offering that these, channels did for the company. To add to that, they've also made a couple of acquisitions. They, during the quarter, bought the IP of Superdry in a couple of neighboring countries, India, Sri Lanka and Bangladesh, and also acquired Edamama, which was a kids and maternity brand. So with this and the 15,000 crore fundraise that they've done, it looks like they're not only on a massive growth path, but it's growth path on a high base as well. So 77,000 crores is the revenue that they already do in a quarter, which is much more than the industry combined in an entire year. And add to that, you have all these guns which are still waiting to fire.
Absolutely, absolutely. So, I just want to get Abhijeet Bora into the conversation as well. Abhijeet, if you had to summarize everything for us, right? I mean, it's a beat on most counts for the company. The growth in the retail business is stellar this time around. There's a stable growth in the telecom business. In fact, the net subscriber additions, as we've been mentioning repeatedly, is very strong. And the company says that by December of this year, they will complete their pan-India rollout of 5G services as well. Given all of this, what kind of an upside do you see on the stock? Because as we've been mentioning, the stock is still down about 20% from its 52-week highs. What's your target?
We have a target price of 2880 currently. And given the underperformance, we expect that post such a stellar performance, there will be some catch-up in the stock price in the near term. And the important thing is that long-term consumer growth drivers are intact for the company. Even the Jio Financial Services, once they ramp up, they will create a long-term value there also, apart from the retail and Jio business. So consumer basket will grow. So we are quite optimistic in terms of overall growth potential for the company. And we have a buy rating on the stock.
What's your target price, Abhijeet?
2880.
2880, all right.
Okay, 2880. And what about you, Prakash? Just before we wind up, any final thoughts on the numbers, the target price on the stock, and how do you see the stock open on Monday?
So, Sonia, as I said, while the catch-up might not be just a day-long affair, it could take some time. Remember, retail is moving very quickly, moving to justify a valuation which is definitely upwards of 8 lakh crores in market cap. We've seen that as the market cap, deemed market cap for all the investments that have come in the second round. But I would believe if you were to attribute about 8-10 lakh crores of market cap to retail at Jio, Reliance as a company is available at just about 15 lakh crore market cap. So there is definitely a huge catch-up. I think at least a 20-25% kind of a catch-up. Now that could take 3 months, that could take 6 months. But I think the under-ownership will trigger, with these kind of numbers, the under-ownership will trigger a lot of interest in playing it safe. And remember, this will happen once ETF money also starts coming back, given the kind of weightages that Reliance has. So all that, subject to all of that getting timed well, I think the stock would move back to those 28,000-29,000 levels by December end itself.
Should we call it your Diwali pick then?
It's always been one of the favorites, Mangla. It's something which stands the test of time, given the kind of huge scaled-up growth that they always look for. I mean, it's not just like a hesitant player that is trying new things out. It's so decisive that it's really impressive. Retail, by the way, is number 9 or number 8. I'm not too sure with the global ranking. You have a global business available to you at such low market caps. You can't miss it, whether it's this Diwali or the next couple of.
All right, gentlemen, thanks a lot for joining in and helping us understand the numbers. Prakash, Abhijeet, Karan, Naveen, thanks for being with us and have a great weekend. So those are Reliance Industries numbers. Just to summarize how the numbers have been, it's a beat on most parameters. Earnings are better than what the street was estimating. The star of the show undoubtedly is the retail business. So it was a stellar showing over there, 10% growth in the top line for retail business, margins coming in at 7.4%. Stable growth in the telecom business as well. The average revenue per user has increased 2.5%, but it's the subscriber addition that is very, very strong this time around. Jio added an industry-leading 11.1 million subscribers in this quarter. And the management says that by December of 2023, they will complete a pan-India rollout of the 5G services. Overall, the numbers are on your screen. Thanks a lot for watching this special coverage. We'll be back in just a bit.